Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakah Hakudash, double understood all apostles and elders, great millstone who rule well and taught me this truth. Peace, blessings, salutations, and mercies to the elect and the one-third remnant out there listening and doing this word. With all faith and sincerity scattered amongst the nations and the four corners of the earth, to you I say shalom, Lord willing. This video is edifying. It's going to be sent around this new information that is now being pushed. Well, it really is not new information, but it's official White House government news or whatever. And it's going into how this whole pandemic in 2020 was all some bullshit. And it's funny because during the time, if you was to say this, you were canceled. I think I lost maybe 2 or 3 channels back when this whole pandemic started, just covering it, right? It was peak censorship. Couldn't bring out no information. And, if you were in opposition against it, you were made out to be damn near enemy of the state, right? You're an idiot. They ridiculed you, all type of shit, right? But now it's coming out that it was all a plot, and it was man-made, okay? But what's not coming out is why they would do such a thing, right? And the answer is simply for control. I mean, it was an experiment to see what they could get away with and how much of society would comply if they were to give orders like this. Pretty much a beta test for the RFID chip, okay? Because best believe they're gonna do this again, but this time it's gonna be the real deal, okay? So they're saying they're admitting that this was all due to them experimenting on diseases, right? And then they're using Anthony Fauci as the scapegoat, right? They're gonna cast all the blame on him, okay, and make it seem like he's the only one who was complicit in this, right? But we know it was a whole movement. This was a whole agenda, right? Everybody was given the same script and the same narrative to push, and they made billions of dollars off of this too. Let's not forget, they made billions, okay? But now, it's just funny how they just coming back now and they're just talking about it like, just admitting the truth, okay? This is Job 15:35. They conceive mischief and bring forth vanity, and their belly prepareth deceit, right? They created this problem, okay? It created this disease and this pandemic and the reaction responses, right, to go along with it. This was all orchestrated by, people like Bill Gates, all right, Jeff Bezos. Amazon blew up during the time of the pandemic, as well as, these different delivery systems, as far as, people going or not leaving their house, having everything sent to them. Uber Eats, The other ones where you can go Instacart and get people to buy your groceries and bring them to you, drop them off at the door. You know, it got people used to a new way of living, right? The new normal. Okay, social media, a lot of different agendas was being pushed over social media. People were damn near brainwashed, right? To the extreme, like women got way worse after COVID because they were just in the house and their algorithms was pushing, certain agendas. Okay, that whole man versus woman thing, right? Bringing these gender wars to a peak. The whole fucking alphabet movement with the LBGTQ thing, a lot of different things came out of that lockdown. Okay, a lot of different things, as well as things they don't talk about, like the facial recognition software. Okay, they were using it. The mask, you wearing masks to work on identifying you with a mask on, right? So a lot of nefarious practices Esau was using or doing, with this whole pandemic being the catalyst for it, right? This is Job 15:6. Thine own mouth condemneth thee, and not I, yea, thine own lips testify against thee, right? So this is no longer us coming out and saying, because when we were saying it, nobody believed it. We were conspiracy theorists, right? You're not a doctor. You're not a scientist. You don't work for the government. You can't tell me anything about this, right? But now look, maybe you should have listened, right? Because now they're telling you that what we were saying was right, but now it's too late. We're 6 years past it. The effects already happened. Whatever happened, happened. Okay, and what happened? A mandatory vaccine. They made now wait till it comes out about the effects of that vaccine. Okay, they telling you the effects of the pandemic, and how it was brought about was through lies and all this other shit, right? Them over exaggerating certain numbers and figures. Motherfucker get his head cut off from a motorcycle accident, get decapitated, but then he's listed as a COVID death because they tested his body for COVID and now he got COVID. So they inflated these numbers to put fear out there for people. Okay, so you should feel violated, and a lot of people do feel violated because they took advantage of your fear, of your lack of faith, right? That's why having faith, okay, in Yahweh Shema Shah is essential, because that's what got us through that time, okay? Because if you were just watching the news and listening to these different outlets, right, you were lost, man. Bugging out hard, right? Ain't even hugging your grandma because Fauci told you not to, right? A lot of people took his words as law, okay, because they have this, Esau is a god, in this world we live in, okay? And he definitely exercised that power with this event, right? This is Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies, and ye are all physicians of no value, right? I remember this scripture in particular got one of my pages deleted during the time of the pandemic, when we were exposing all his bullshit. This scripture calling, physicians of no value, got my page wiped. Right now he's coming out saying that pretty much he's a physician with no value, right? And, he used lies to cover it all up. All right. You cannot trust this devil. What does the scripture say? Cursed is he that trusteth in man, right? Never trust thine enemy, right? Because now look, you've been made a fool. You've been duped. Okay? You've been duped. He wouldn't even let you, in certain places without a mask on, man. I remember my child was born, right? And I'm trying to go in a damn hospital, okay? Because it was kind of a, last second thing, kind of just had her at the last second. It wasn't like she was in the hospital already. So, she's going into labor and I'm trying to get up there. And the nigga at the front desk wouldn't even, no, well, you don't have a mask, so you can't go back there. No, you can't even be in here without a mask. You need a mask, right? My fucking child finna be born. I'm trying to get in there to see it. And I'm almost, I'm being told no because I'm not wearing a damn mask, man. So you people, all of you people who are out there cooning, right? Doing exactly as this devil had told you to, right? Like a good nigga. How do you feel now? Right? You gotta feel like a fool, but a lot of people are too proud to admit it. Right? They're too proud to admit that they were fooled, that they were duped. Right? So they're gonna go along pretending, right? Well, no, it was actually a lot of people that was, they're not gonna admit it. Right? But inwardly they know. Okay, some have humbled themselves and came out and said, like, yeah, I was made a fool. I was taken advantage of, right? But a lot of people are going to stand on, their ignorance, right? Their foolishness. This is just because they don't like, they were on the wrong side of it. They don't want to admit it, right? But we're here to say, we told you so. Right. What about you Israelite camps out there? Right. Who was fooled, wearing masks and shit everywhere, teaching with a mask on. Right. Social distancing. What about you guys telling your congregations to take the vax and now this come out? Right. So you've proved that you're not a man of the Lord. You're not a prophet. Okay. This is Isaiah 32:7. The instruments of the true are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words. Even when the needy speaketh right. Right. Came up with he plotting. He's scheming. Right. To destroy you in every angle. All right. In every way that he can. So he put out these different things to convince you, right? Putting out these different people with these elaborate titles that'll, make you believe them more because he's educated, quote unquote. And then here it is. What does the scripture say? The poor man's wisdom is despised, right? We told you, hey, this is some bullshit, right? Since when has he ever cared about the masses of people? Because we saw through it, right? Using the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. And, we were ridiculed. We were canceled. Some cases, you might have lost a job because you didn't want to get that shot, right? But the liberal deviseth liberal things, and by liberal things shall he stand, right? And that's why we stood on what was right, principle, right? We stood on our faith in Yahweh Shema Shah. If we were to lose anything, the Lord is gonna He's gonna sustain and maintain us. He's gonna make sure we're good at the end of the day. And guess what? He did. And then at the end of everything, when full circle moment, now, the government's coming out saying, pretty much we were right. Okay. And the people who were ridiculing you and talking all that shit, calling you a conspiracy theorist and all this shit because they were afraid, they can't help but take notice of that now. Now they see it, right? So it's beautiful, man. And the Lord's going to do this even more. This is just one of many things that we're going to be found to be right about, all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah. So with that, give all praise and glory to Yahweh Shema Shah, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash, Wa Ba Ba Ba, and DTA, DTN.